You don't fail at speaking English because you're bad at English. You fail because your mouth was never trained to speak it. And once you realize this, you'll never see English or yourself the same way again. Have you ever noticed something terrifying about yourself? You can understand English. You can watch videos. You can follow conversations. You can even explain grammar rules. But when it's time to speak, your voice disappears. Your lips freeze. Your tongue feels heavy. Your chest tightens. Your mind suddenly goes empty. And in that moment, something breaks inside you. Because you're not just failing to speak English. You're watching yourself stay silent. And silence slowly changes how you see yourself. You start avoiding questions. You start smiling instead of answering. You start telling yourself, maybe I'm just not good at languages. Maybe I'm not made for this. Maybe I should stop trying. But what if I told you that everything you believe about why you can't speak is wrong? What if the real reason you're stuck has nothing to do with your intelligence, nothing to do with your grammar, nothing to do with your memory? What if the real problem is something no one ever told you to train? Your mouth. Yes, your mouth. Your lips. Your tongue. Your jaw. Your breath. Your sound flow. Because speaking is not only a mental skill, it is a physical one. And you have been training the wrong system. You've trained your brain to recognize English, but you've never trained your body to produce it. Think about this. You can read 10 books about swimming. You can watch perfect technique. You can memorize every rule of breathing. But the first time you enter deep water, your body doesn't care what you know. If your muscles are untrained, you sink. That is exactly what happens when you try to speak English. You know, but your mouth collapses because English has a different rhythm, a different musical pattern, a different physical shape, and your mouth is still moving like your native language. Slow, separated, careful, tense. So when English tries to come out fast, smooth, and connected, your system fails. And then you blame yourself. Not because you are weak, but because no one ever showed you what to train. Welcome to Glaze English. And if what you're hearing feels uncomfortably familiar, stay with me. Because this is not another English lesson. This is not about adding more information to your head. This is about rebuilding your voice, about waking up the muscles that actually create speech, about retraining the system that controls confidence, about finally understanding why you've been stuck and how to get out. In this video, we are not chasing perfect grammar. We are not chasing accents. We are not chasing vocabulary lists. We are building a speaking system, one that lives in your mouth, in your breath, in your nervous system, in your daily habits. Because when your mouth becomes fluent, your confidence follows. And when your confidence follows, your life changes. Not magically, physically. But before we go any further, I want to ask you for something simple. If you are tired of staying silent, if you are tired of watching others speak while you hide, if you are ready to stop collecting English and start using it, subscribe to this channel. Support Glaze English, because everything we build here is for one purpose: to turn silent learners into real speakers. Now listen closely. You are not bad at English. You are not broken. You have not failed. You have just never trained the part of you that actually speaks. And today, that changes. Because once you understand this truth, you can never unsee it. And once you begin training the right system, you will never experience English the same way again. This is where your real speaking journey begins. Which one feels more true for you right now? A. I know a lot of English, but my mouth doesn't obey me. B. My biggest problem is not knowledge, it's confidence and fear. Comment A or B below. If part 1 opened your eyes to what's really been missing, then this is the moment where everything becomes real. Because awareness without action changes nothing. So now the question is no longer, why am I stuck? The question is, what do I actually do every day to change this? Let me give you a promise that may sound small, but carries enormous power. If you train the way I'm about to show you for just 5 minutes a day, every single day, your English will not only sound different, your body will respond differently when you speak. Your confidence will feel different. Your fear will weaken. Your reactions will speed up. Because what we are about to build is not knowledge. It is a system, and systems change people. Most learners fail not because they don't work hard, but because they don't work physically. They collect, they watch, they save, they plan. But speaking does not grow through collection. It grows through motion. And motion only needs minutes, not hours, if those minutes are trained correctly. From today on, I want you to stop calling this practice. Practice sounds optional. Practice sounds academic. Practice sounds like something you do when you feel motivated. This is training. And training happens whether you feel like it or not. Because when something becomes training, it becomes identity. So what does this daily training look like? Think of it as your personal English gym. Not a place where you study English, a place where you build a speaking body. 5 minutes, every day. No excuses. No waiting until you feel ready. Because readiness is created by repetition, not emotion. The first minute is about preparing your instrument. Your mouth is not just skin and teeth. It is a complex system of muscles, nerves, tension patterns, and breathing habits. And most of that system is asleep when it comes to English. So before you ask it to perform, you wake it up. You gently buzz your lips, not to sound good, but to bring blood and awareness into the area where speech is born. You stretch your tongue because it is the most overworked and undertrained muscle in language learning. You open your jaw because tension blocks speed. You stretch your face because English lives in wider sound shapes than most languages. This is not silly. This is neurological. A warm system reacts faster. A relaxed system learns faster. A prepared system does not panic. And panic is the enemy of fluency. The second minute is where something deeper begins. You stand in front of the mirror, not to judge yourself, not to criticize your accent, not to look for mistakes. You stand there to meet your own voice. Most people have never actually watched themselves speak English, so their brain associates English with invisibility, embarrassment, and threat. The mirror rewrites that association. You look into your own eyes and speak a simple sentence. Not to sound perfect, to feel present. You watch your lips move. You feel the sound leaving your body. You hear your own English in the air. And something subtle but powerful happens. Your brain starts accepting English as your sound. Not a school sound, not a test sound, not a foreign sound. Your sound. This is where speaking confidence is born. Not in crowds, not in exams. In private moments where your nervous system learns, I am safe to hear myself speak. The third part of your training is where fluency actually starts forming. Shadow speaking. This is not repeating after someone. This is synchronizing with someone. You choose a short, real English clip, just a few seconds, and you speak with it, not after it. You don't pause to think. You don't slow it down to control it. You don't translate it to understand it. You move with it. Your mouth chases the sound. Your breath matches the rhythm. Your voice rides the emotion. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, even if you miss words. Because this is not about correctness. This is about building a speaking reflex. And reflexes are built through timing, not theory. This is how musicians train. This is how athletes train. This is how children learn to speak. They don't analyze the sound. They enter the sound. And every time you shadow, you connect 3 systems at once. Your ear, your mouth, your nervous system. That triangle is fluency, not vocabulary, not grammar, reaction. Then, in the final minute, you lock everything in. This is the fluency loop. You take one simple sentence and you move it through 3 gears. Slow. You stretch the sounds, not to memorize, but to teach your mouth the physical shape of the sentence. Then, normal. You connect it, breathe it, feel it as communication. Then, fast. Not rushed. Free. You link the sounds. You let the sentence flow as one unit. And when you repeat this loop, something important happens inside your brain. The sentence stops being information. It becomes a motor pattern. Your system starts saying, this is easy, this is familiar, this is safe. And when speaking feels safe, thinking steps aside. This 5-minute structure does not look impressive, and that is exactly why it works. Because impressive routines don't survive real life. Simple ones do. This routine can live in your bedroom, in your bathroom, in your car, in a quiet corner of your house. It doesn't require energy. It creates energy. And if you do this daily, something remarkable will happen. You will stop preparing to speak. You will start expecting yourself to speak. Your mouth will begin reacting before your fear finishes its sentence. Your English will stop living only in your head. It will move into your body. And when language lives in the body, it stops feeling like a foreign subject. It starts feeling like a personal ability. This is not a study plan. This is a behavioral shift. From consumer to trainer, from watcher to speaker, from silent to active. And once that shift happens, everything else accelerates. Because the real difference between people who speak and people who stay silent is not intelligence. It is whether their daily habits train their voice or only feed their mind. From this moment forward, your progress is no longer a mystery. It is a routine, and routines, repeated long enough, become identity. That is how a silent learner becomes a speaker, 5 minutes at a time. And once this daily training begins to live in your body, something important starts to happen. You no longer struggle just to make sounds. You begin to notice how fluent speakers actually move those sounds. Because here is a truth most learners never discover. Most people who don't sound fluent are not failing at English. They are speaking English in the wrong shape. They speak it like writing, word by word, piece by piece. Careful, separated, mechanical. I'm going to the market. Pause. I will see you later. Pause. Correct, but lifeless. And the human ear does not listen to correctness. It listens to music. Native speakers are not fluent because they know more grammar. They are fluent because their English flows. They don't speak words, they speak sound groups, breath groups, rhythm groups. English, in real life, is not built from individual bricks. It is built from moving waves. This is what we call sound flow. And inside that flow live what are called sound clusters. Small groups of words that are spoken as one physical unit. For example, what are you doing? In real speech, this rarely lives as 4 words. It lives as one movement. What you doing? Did you eat? Becomes, did you eat? I don't know becomes, I don't know. Notice something important. The meaning does not change. The grammar does not disappear. But the sound behavior transforms. Weak sounds soften. Strong sounds lead. Spaces close. The voice glides instead of stepping. This is not slang. This is neurology. Your mouth is designed to conserve energy. So, when sounds appear together often, it blends them. Fluency is not created by adding more words. It is created by removing unnecessary effort. And this is why many learners feel they are slow. Not because they think slowly, but because they speak with too many stops. Every stop forces your brain to restart. Every restart invites fear, and fear kills flow. Fluent speakers do not restart every word. They ride sound lines, like a melody, not like typing. So from this moment on, I want you to stop measuring your English by how many words you know, and start listening for how English moves, where the voice rises, where it falls, where it connects, where it breathes. Because when your ear changes, your mouth follows. This is how you train sound flow. Each day, choose 3 common clusters, not sentences, not vocabulary, clusters. Short, useful, everyday sound groups. Gonna go now. Let me know. Wanna see it? Give me a minute. I gotta go. Write them down. But don't read them like information. Play them like music. Say them again and again on one breath without cutting the sound. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. You are not repeating words. You are carving rhythm into your nervous system, because rhythm enters memory faster than logic. Then you build sentences around them. I'm going to go now. I'll call you later. Let me know when you arrive. Give me a minute. I'm almost done. And now, here is the most important part. You don't say these sentences like pieces. You say them like one long sound, one thought, one breath. This trains your mouth to stop negotiating with every word. And when the mouth stops negotiating, fluency appears. Then you record your voice, not to judge, to witness. When you listen back, don't ask, "Is my grammar perfect?" Ask, "Is my voice moving? Is it stuck? Or is it flowing?" At first, you may feel uncomfortable because most people are not used to hearing themselves in motion. They are used to hearing themselves being careful. But careful is not fluent. Comfortable is fluent. And comfort is a physical state built through repetition. Here is what begins to change when sound flow becomes part of your daily training. Your sentences get shorter but stronger. Your pauses become intentional, not accidental. Your speaking stops feeling like building something and starts feeling like releasing something. People stop listening to your English. They start listening to you. And this is the real shift. Because fluency is not when people say, "Your English is correct." Fluency is when people forget they are listening to your English at all. They hear your meaning, your tone, your emotion, your presence. That is the power of sound flow. It turns English from a school subject into a living voice. And once your mouth begins to experience that flow, something inside you relaxes. Because now your speaking is no longer about survival. It is about expression. And expression is what the human voice was built for. And when your mouth begins to flow, you quickly discover something else that matters just as much as sound. You discover what is happening inside you while you speak. Because many people can train their mouth and still feel blocked. They can repeat. They can shadow. They can build better sound. But when a real person stands in front of them, their throat tightens, their chest contracts, their thoughts race, and their voice disappears again. This is where most speaking programs fail. They train the engine, but they ignore the driver. And if the driver is afraid, no engine will move smoothly. Your mouth cannot speak freely if your brain believes speaking is dangerous. So now we go deeper. Because fluency is not only a mechanical skill, it is a nervous system skill. Most English learners don't actually struggle with language. They struggle with internal pressure. The pressure to be correct. The pressure to sound smart. The pressure to not be judged. The pressure to not make mistakes. And pressure suffocates voice. Your brain goes into protection mode. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your muscles tighten. Your mind starts monitoring instead of expressing. And the moment you monitor yourself, fluency dies. So the real work now is not adding more techniques. It is changing the emotional relationship you have with speaking. The first shift is this: stop speaking to be correct. Start speaking to connect. Human beings do not communicate through grammar. They communicate through energy, tone, emotion, intention, presence. People remember how you sound, not how accurate you were. So when you practice, stop treating sentences like math problems. Treat them like messages. When you say, "I'm really happy to be here," don't deliver it like information. Deliver it like a feeling. Let your face change. Let your breath move. Let your voice rise. Emotion organizes sound. When emotion enters your speaking, your voice becomes natural without effort. The second shift is how you see yourself when you practice. Most learners practice like students: careful, small, defensive. Fluent speakers train like actors. Actors don't aim to be correct. They aim to be real. They don't ask, "Did I say this perfectly?" They ask, "Did this sound alive?" So when you take a sentence, don't repeat it once. Perform it. "I can't believe this happened." Say it like you just won the lottery. Say it like someone betrayed you. Say it like you're terrified. Say it like you're laughing. Watch what happens to your voice. Your pitch changes. Your rhythm changes. Your confidence changes. Why? Because when you act, your attention moves outward. You stop checking yourself. And when self-checking stops, flow begins. The third shift is how your brain understands English. Most learners build English on top of their native language. They hear a sentence, they translate it, they analyze it, they construct it again. Then they try to speak. By the time the mouth is ready, the moment is gone. This is why speaking feels slow and stressful. So we change the way meaning is stored. Instead of connecting English to words in your language, you connect English directly to images, feelings, and situations. When you hear, "Let's catch up sometime," your brain should not look for a translation. It should see two people smiling in a cafe. When you hear, "I'm starving," your brain should not search for vocabulary. It should feel hunger. This builds mental shortcuts. Your brain starts reacting to English instead of processing it, and reaction is the core of fluency. The fourth shift is bringing your whole body into your voice. Most people practice speaking while sitting still, collapsed, quiet. But the human voice was not built for stillness. It was built for expression. Stand up when you practice. Let your arms move. Let your posture open. Let your breathing deepen. When your body expands, your voice expands. When your body moves, your brain wakes up. Movement increases memory. Movement increases emotion. Movement increases confidence. You are not a mouth attached to a brain. You are a full nervous system that speaks, so train it as one system. There is a simple daily ritual that brings all of this together. Take 3 short sentences. In the first minute, say them with full emotion: happy, angry, surprised. In the second minute, act them like scenes from a movie. Change your face, change your posture, change your energy. In the third minute, walk and speak. Let your body carry the words. In the fourth minute, stand in front of the mirror and speak them with presence, not loud, owned. In the fifth minute, record your voice and listen back, not for mistakes, for life. Ask yourself one question. Did this sound like a human being expressing something real? Because fluency is not when you finally stop making mistakes. Fluency is when you stop being afraid of making them. And when fear leaves the speaking system, space opens. In that space, your real voice begins to appear. Not a perfect voice, a free one. And a free voice is always more powerful than a correct one. This is the moment when English stops being a subject you work on and starts becoming a part of who you are. And when your voice is no longer trapped by fear, something powerful becomes possible. You can finally build fluency that lasts. Because confidence without structure fades. Emotion without repetition disappears. So now we arrive at the part that separates people who feel inspired from people who actually change. Repetition. But not the kind of repetition that makes you bored, the kind that makes you become. Most learners repeat sentences like machines, flat, lifeless, mindless. They say the same line again and again, hoping time will magically turn it into fluency. It doesn't. Because repetition is not about saying something more. It is about building layers into the nervous system. Real repetition trains 5 things at once: mouth memory, reaction speed, sound control, emotional ownership, real-life readiness. And when those 5 grow together, fluency becomes permanent. Here is how intelligent repetition works. You take one sentence, just one, and you don't memorize it. You install it. First, you slow it down. You stretch the sounds. You feel every movement. You teach your mouth the physical shape of the sentence. Not to remember it, to embody it. Then you bring it into natural flow. One smooth line, connected, breathing. This is how the sentence would live in conversation. Then you give it emotion. You don't change the words, you change the life inside them. You say it with joy, with anger, with surprise, with disappointment. Now the sentence is no longer language, it is experience. Then you apply pressure. You say it faster, not rushed, free. You challenge your reaction time. You teach your system to speak before your mind interferes. And finally, you bring it into reality. You place the sentence into situations, a conversation, a meeting, a personal moment. You make it useful. You make it yours. This is when repetition stops being practice and starts being identity building. Because now that sentence is no longer something you know. It is something you can live. And this is how fluent speakers are created. Not by learning thousands of sentences once, but by owning hundreds of sentences deeply, until their voice is built from things they have lived out loud. Now listen carefully. There are 2 types of people watching this. The first type feels motivated. They nod. They agree. They save the video. And tomorrow, they go back to watching. They stay in the world of preparation, and preparation feels safe, but nothing grows there. The second type makes a quieter decision. They don't promise themselves a new life. They promise themselves 5 minutes. They choose one sentence. They stand in front of a mirror. They move their mouth. They feel awkward. They record their voice. They repeat. And they repeat again. And a week later, something shifts. They don't feel ready. They feel able. That is the difference between consumers and builders. One collects English, the other creates a voice. If you don't train, you won't suddenly become fluent one day. You will simply become better at staying silent. And silence is not neutral. Silence costs opportunities. Silence costs connection. Silence slowly convinces you that you are smaller than you really are. So right now, before this video ends, I want you to make one clear statement. Not in your head, with your voice. I will no longer be silent. I will train my mouth every day. I will speak even when it feels uncomfortable, because fluency is not a talent. It is not a gift. It is not luck. It is a habit built in private. And one day, people will hear you speak and say, "You're so fluent." They will not see the 5-minute sessions, the mirror work, the recordings, the repetitions, but you will know. You didn't wait. You didn't stay silent. You built this voice. And that is where real fluency begins. Before this video ends, I want you to step back for a moment and look at what you've really discovered today. Not a method, not a routine, not even a speaking system. You discovered a truth about yourself. For a long time, you may have believed that English was something you were missing. More words, more grammar, more lessons. But what you've seen here is something very different. You were never missing English. You were missing training. You were never lacking intelligence. You were lacking repetition in the right place, in the mouth, in the nervous system, in daily action. And this truth goes far beyond language, because this is not only how speaking works, this is how life works. We don't become confident by understanding confidence. We don't become strong by watching strength. We don't become expressive by learning theories about expression. We become through training, through small actions repeated until the body changes, until the nervous system adapts, until what once felt uncomfortable becomes natural. Your voice is not weak. It is untrained. Your confidence is not missing. It is undeveloped. And development never happens in big emotional moments. It happens in small, private, daily decisions. 5 minutes when no one is watching. One sentence repeated when it feels awkward. One moment of choosing to speak instead of staying silent. That is where transformation actually lives. The deepest lesson in this entire journey is simple. You don't change your life by wishing for a new version of yourself. You change your life by building new habits that force a new version of you to appear. And this is how you can apply this starting today. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a result. Choose one small daily action that trains the skill you want, not the idea of it. If you want to speak, train your mouth. If you want confidence, train expression. If you want growth, train consistency. Protect 5 minutes a day the way you would protect something valuable. Because 5 minutes repeated is not 5 minutes. It is a new nervous system, a new self-image, a new future. And one day, you will look back and realize the moment everything began to change was not when you learned something new. It was when you finally started training what you already had: your voice, your presence, your ability to express what's inside you. That is what turns a silent person into a speaker, and a speaker into someone who is finally heard. Do you believe speaking English is more about training or more about talent? Please politely share your answer in the comments so everyone can read different perspectives. And if this video gave you clarity, motivation, or a new way of seeing yourself, please subscribe to the channel to support Glaze English. Your support is what gives this channel the energy to keep creating deeper, more powerful content for you.